Good morning, everybody. Alright, so I know I bounce around a lot, and I'm sorry, that's part of my ADHD and stuff like that, and anxiety and everything. But I'm trying to get things done in a certain amount of time here, just in case. You never know. You might get ticked off at me and show up. So, let's get to where we're going here first. All right. So I have first, I've talked to you guys before about caveman versus, well, Bigfoot versus caveman, I should say. And we already said about the truth there, which even sources I guess I have say there is no such thing as a Bigfoot. They call it a Bigfoot because of the feet, of course. But the true nature of it is it's a caveman. Okay, that's still existing to this day, still out in the wilderness. Like now, I know you guys are like, yeah, okay, come on. There would be no way caveman still we still exist. We're still existing. Of how many decades? So why wouldn't a population? Because how? Think of it this way, all right? If you really believe the government saying that caveman don't exist no more, well then how do we exist? You understand what I'm saying? And we've existed for a long, long, long time. Okay, decades. So the possibility of caveman still being out there, it's a possibility. I mean, big possibility. I believe my sources. I've never. I mean, they are in the government. They are military too, and contractors. I also have some that are contractors through the government now. But I do believe this that Bigfoot is truly the caveman. It's still existing. Still existing. I mean, there is old footage that shows two Bigfoot slash caveman with a child caveman. So therefore, uh, it's highly likely because they would be still, going and going and going. But the fact that they separated themselves from us, definitely, and then they would chase you. I mean, look, come on, how many stories you have that they chase the. You get what I'm saying. These people are chasing us down from where they are, and yet the government knows about it. I mean, I've heard plenty of stories from these people that tell me, that they went in and, here we are going in with, what we believe is the superior being and the superior things that we take in to go after something like that. And to have to fight craziness, and it took days for them to eliminate them. That right there tells me something. Like, these beings are pretty intelligent. Intelligence comes from human beings. I mean, yes, apes have an intelligence level, but they really don't have the intelligence like us unless they learn from us. So that's the problem. A caveman is born with intelligence that he doesn't have to learn from somebody else, really. He adapts and figures out how to adapt, just like most things. But we know how to adapt differently because our brain thinks differently than from what apes do. So, your Bigfoot is no more than a caveman. Straight fact. The hairiness, the fact that the calls, the way that it grunts, the communication, all signify caveman. Um, Not only that, okay, is the fact that the way they move and walk, it's so human, so natural. Okay, an ape doesn't do that. No ape. I mean, You have some that do that slight human walk, but then they go back to all fours. So, in truth, true in reality here, that it's not a Bigfoot with slash ape. Okay, that's no possibility. Um, Now I did see some footage today this morning. Supposedly a UFO, a new one that hasn't been seen. Now here's my problem with this, because I looked at the footage really good. It's not AI. It's not. So I right away needed to test it to see if there was AI. So I watched this video, slow motion, super slow motion, looked for the telltale signs of an AI anywhere in it. Nothing. Zip. So then I went into my computer and put it through the AI system, came back negative. So then I started really paying attention to the object, like with the lights and all that, and that's when I caught it. That's when I caught it. So this is a United States government UFO. So they started out with flying saucers, and because most of your UFOs that are real do not, because flying saucers came actually from the fictional thing, because they really know, because if you really go back, okay, and we're talking about back decades to ancient times, to Egypt, to Mayans, to China, back when samurai and that, even before then, to the dynasty. So, not a single one. And even in India, and that, I forgot, India has the perfection of it. Like, none of these show a circular UFO. They always show something that they see as either like China, the dragon. Um, India, it was mostly like a building. They would think it was a building because that's what they interpreted it as. Mayans, Mayans depicted it as like a plane. Um, and Egypt, now Egypt, it was the oval or egg shaped, and there was also long tube ones. Never once do they show the depiction of, and let's even go back even to really good from here in America. We're talking about Native Americans. Their depictions are not of a circular object. So where did the circular object come? This would be from the government, because it was the easiest thing to make in a movie. You understand? I mean, back then they didn't have the smarts to, make something that complicated and that and complex. So they just made it easy, a circular object. That's the easiest thing. So that's why they would follow the same theory and that, because every true object that I've seen was cigar tube like, that was real. We're talking about old footage from camera tapes that you could not AI it. They were egg shaped, oval shaped, cigar shaped, or more complex. Even pyramid ones. I've seen the pyramid ones that were back then. But here's here's where it gets really crazy. So I know these people. If you're old as me, you remember Star Wars. And Star Wars, listen, greatest series ever. Like I still love my Star Wars. Still watch it, even though they still don't have the originals no more. It just, which saddens me. It breaks my heart that they didn't just do this right away and kept the originals and built something amazing. Because I'm sure they would have made tons of money if they would have just kept going. But anyway, I'm sorry, a fanatic here with Star Wars. There is, now that's when they did some, because there is ships that remind you of that. Now they added details on it to make it more, oh, we're gonna make it even more better. Uh, but they were the same, basically, because it's a triangle in a certain way. Because it's just how they did that. Now, and then also Alien versus Predator, all that. These aren't fictional aliens. These are not fictional aliens. So your Predator is basically your lizard. You know what I mean? Your lizard. That's what they would look like. Um, and truth be told, I do believe those were real. I mean, if you really pay attention, I think the only way that they could make something, they couldn't make a costume. Like, there's no way, because even back then they didn't have that complex. I mean, you've seen most of their movies that with the computer, they were so fake, so fake. But Alien vs Predator, how is it so perfect? Even the ones that were very first beginning ones, perfection. Excuse me. And the aliens, detailed to a T. And I mean, come on, you're gonna be, if that's a suit, you're gonna be dying. You're gonna be dying. But I've seen the new stuff with the suits, and they just don't look like the movie. They don't. You could tell they're so fake in that. So I did some digging. I did some digging, and I wholeheartedly believe that these are real, 100% real aliens they used in these movies. Call me crazy, I don't care. Just it's just too crazy of the detail. So I'm hoping that I'm wrong about that, because if these things are real that like that, then we're in trouble. We're in trouble, man. Like it's just insane. But so American UFOs, definitely what you're going to be seeing. And I'm telling you, Project Bluebeam is close to happening. So you're going to see a lot more. And the fact that now they finally want to disclose, Trump is saying about disclosing all UFOs. This is the time why they would expose it all of a sudden, because you got to remember, it's been decades and decades and decades and decades and decades that they kept this secret. So why all of a sudden the change? Well, because of Project Bluebeam to take over, to control, because they're losing control. They're losing their ability. The people are seeing through all the bullcrap. So, but the reason for Project Bluebeam is the fear of all of us uniting and coming together. Um, that's a proven fact. Oh, and let me say this: all these attempts on Trump's life is all bullcrap. Come on, it wasn't long before Trump, he supposedly had his ear wrapped and all that, and then all of a sudden it wasn't long before that wrapping was off, and there was no scar, no nothing. Like, come on, think about it. Come on, fake. So that's what I'm saying. It was completely fake, and it was another somebody that's from far away taking a, and guess what? A pew pew, and guess what? Somehow misses. Well, come on. You gotta figure. Not a professional, right? Doesn't know the angles and that, but I think it was all bullcrap. I don't think that dude even took that shot. Don't believe it. Just like Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens. I believe Candace Owens. I'm sorry, Erica Kirk had something to do with that, and someone else was a part of it. And that poor boy got set up. 100% that poor boy got set up, because it don't add up. That was so far away that you would have to be a professional to take that. You would have to be a professional. I know. I've shot. I use a sniper rifle throughout my whole career, and I'm gonna tell you, you have to go by the wind. You have to go by where you're gonna be hitting. You gotta all the factors. 100% you gotta pay attention to and have knowledge about. And for that distance, that boy didn't do it. That boy. That was a close. I mean, if you really look, and I don't believe he got with a weapon. I think it was like Man, I wish you could say stuff without getting banned. But there's something about the way that there was nothing when he got struck. Nothing. And his microphone exploded. That's the thing. So I do believe that there's the possibility that it came from that. Um, it just don't add up. It don't. And then there was nothing. It just looked like he got knocked out. And but I think Erica Kirk had something to do with it because all of a sudden she's with a new man every time. Okay, and she's got money, but yet her business is going to. So how does she have this money? And she lost her kids. Uh, and yeah, like but and she don't care. She don't care that she lost her kids. And it just, I don't know. It just don't make sense. And sorry, I got another source hit messaging me. But yeah, so okay, so yeah, this is gonna have to be another video for that source. Oh my word! Wow, hang on, let me write this down. I apologize. This is and this is actually info that I'm getting about Erica Kirk. So yeah, and here's the thing: she's constantly on there, like she's him, like she's him. Talk and she's always saying about trying to figure out a way to get her that business going and flowing again because she's all about money, but she really don't need it because she got paid big bucks for that whole situation, and it's just wild. It's just wild. But I just got that and this more information about her and Charlie. So Candace Owens, if anybody uh, watches Candace Owens, please send her this video, please, because Candace Owens, I want to talk to you. Um, Reach out to me somehow, Candace Owens, and then we can figure out exchange numbers and that. Because I just hit. I just got a big score on that. I just blows my mind. Um, Sorry. So yeah. That is insane. Sorry, everybody. Sorry. Okay. Um. Let's move on to the next thing. So, uh, now I was talking also before about um Jesus and religion. So, so let's do it this way. True followers and slash true believers of Jesus and God versus religion fanatics. Now let's start with the religion fanatics because um, religion is a whole made up thing. There is no such thing as Christianity, Catholicism, Jewism, um, and Muslim, whatever else out there. There's no true. It's all made up. It goes back all the way that there was the first religion back then was Jewish and paganism, which were made up. Then came Catholics. Catholics, that's when they made up Catholic, BS. And then there was a few others that came, all made up. Everything you hear about with the religion is false. I mean, truthfully, Jesus never came. If you really, really pay attention, I mean, you gotta fully pay attention to this. He never came, was born, and never once since then, when he started teaching, never once mentioned a religion. Never. I mean, he said religion was false. That was it. That was it. A made up situation. So, and he spoke that. That was the only time because he really didn't get on something like that. But he's never said about a church. He never said about anything revolving about going to something like a church or temple or anything. Nothing. Nothing. Not once. I mean, the one time he went there and he seen them that's supposed to be like a temple of God or whatever, and he seen him disgracing it by but I don't believe that because I don't see that they have that on there like they're disgracing it, but because listen, and this is what's really gonna blow your mind. When Jesus Christ was teaching, right, did he ever ask for money? Not once did he ask for money. Not once. And this is proof fact because if he asked for money, that he could have had someone go buy this food because no, he took what was available, the little bit of bread and a little bit of fish, and made it huge, and it spread out. So he was able to feed all those people. I mean, look into it. It's in the Bible. Look in the old Bible though, because you get the full. I'm talking about like 1700s to maybe close to the 80s Bible. But you'll get the full process, full story on it and more understanding. But he fed all them people with no issue, no complaints, and was able to feed every single person. Every single person. And all he did was pray to God, his Father, our Father. So, true followers are the ones, and true believers are the ones that actually believe and truly follow to the T. And we're not talking about, what you believe. I mean, because I'm sorry, there's a lot of Christian people out there, Catholics and that say they're, all da 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 and yah yah yah. No, you're not. Because truthfully, you would be out there helping people. And I see a lot of people that actually, excuse me, I see a lot of people actually out there helping people. Actually doing for them. The homeless, you're helping people that have, I mean, come on. Matthew Parks is a true believer, true follower, because that man helps people that either he will get the funds by fundraising, and by GoFundMe, and fix the car or get them a new car. Those people that are willing to send him money, I believe, are true followers. I believe they're true, they're true people, good people. I'm not saying all of them are, believe in God and Jesus, but they're truly good people because they're willing to take their hard-earned money, no matter how small it is, and help them out. And it blows my mind. And then he goes and he go either fixes the vehicle with the money, or if the vehicle is shot, he's honest. If the vehicle is shot, he will buy them another vehicle or get another vehicle that's donated. If he got a vehicle donated, he will get it to him. If he doesn't have any donations for a vehicle, he gets a vehicle for him with the fundraiser money. Brilliant person. Gotta commend him. and those that help. So, to those that help with GoFundMe's, God bless you. God bless you for helping people. That is what a true believer and follower should be doing. And if you don't know about Jesus Christ and the sacrifice He's done for you and about God, please pick up a Bible, a real Bible, and look for an old Bible. I mean, old that's not a King James, not a New Testament or Old Testament. Older. Pick up that Bible and learn. Or go to somebody that does know, a true person that knows, and learn. And I hope you come to Him and ask Him in your life, because you're gonna need it. Because times are gonna get harder now. Times are coming close to the end, where Jesus is He's gonna come. He's gonna come, and nothing's gonna stop Him. I'm sorry, nothing is gonna stop that man from coming back. No matter how much they think they can, or think they can destroy him, or think it's not gonna happen. It's not. So right now, I need you to pick up and look and believe if you don't, because every day He's did a miracle for you. Every day, and you just don't realize it. The one miracle is you wake up every day. Every morning you wake up alive and breathing and still here. Every day you make it through a day. Every day you're driving down that road is a miracle that something don't happen. And if something does happen, you're still alive, still here. You might be hurting, you might have something broken, but you're still here. But here's another thing. Those that don't make it and are believers, it's a miracle, because you're going to be going to heaven. But let me break the news to you now. A nun, she, man, she had it wasn't a vision, and I believe her soul was taken up to heaven, and she talked to Jesus, and she's like, I need my people to know the truth. And He said, when they pass away and their soul comes before me, there's only one thing I ask, and that's what gets you into heaven or not, no matter what you've done. No matter what you're done. Because your soul, as it's ascending to meet Him, you're going through all the stuff you've ever done, bad and good. Not just bad. Everything you've done, both. You flashes, and then your soul breaks down. And then by the time you reach Him, you have the choice. Because that's what He died for. Jesus Christ died for for a choice for you. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't believe that choice was just solely for, while you're here on earth. I believe also when you go up to heaven, you still have a choice. And that's why I believe what I heard, because this is facts. He said, I will ask them, do you still want me? And then that's when your soul has that opportunity, from all them flashbacks, from all the good and bad stuff you've done, is if you truly feel like, yes, I still want you, or no, I don't. So, and that's anybody. I'm talking about anybody. So that's why we need to stop judging each other. We really do, because, we're all put on this earth. We all make mistakes. We all do stupid stuff. Like, you can't deny it, because nobody has a perfect life. No one. I don't care how rich you are. You could be the wealthiest. You could be the richest person. You don't have a perfect life. Nobody does. Look at me. I'm poor, trying to get a car. And guess what? I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. Nothing nothing. I'm not perfect. I'm worthless. I don't feel worthy. But he feels that I'm worthy about something, because I'm still here. I'm still fighting. I still have the stubbornness in my heart to still be following Him and have faith. No matter what the situation I'm put through, I still have faith. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful. Sometimes I get upset and get ungrateful, but then when I realize that I'm an idiot for not being grateful. I'm an idiot. Why? So that's what I'm saying. It's just, he'll come through. He always does. It might not be right away. Might not be immediately, but it'll happen. You gotta prove to hold on to your faith. That's what it is. You gotta hold on to that faith and show him, I'm not going nowhere. I'm not gonna forget about you because you ain't forgetting about me. You just want me to prove my worth to you, that I deserve it, or if I deserve it or not. And that's where you gotta show that you gotta hold on. Hold on. That's all it's about, is to show him, I'm still here, Lord. I still believe in you. I still have faith in you. No matter what, I ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere. And it's up to you if you want to help me or not. But I still love you. I still believe in you. And you just wait. If not, you figure something out. You keep your faith. If not, you keep your faith and move on to, don't give up just because you don't get what you want. That's not what life is about. I'm sorry. Get over yourself. If you think you're going to get what you want because you think no, you're not. Moving on. Dinosaurs versus dragons. So, yeah. So, dinosaurs versus dragons. So, here's my thing. Uh, I 100% believe both were on there. Now, the only reason I say that is there's too much proof. And I don't believe that dinosaurs died millions of years ago, or however the government are saying it. No. And that's the truth. I mean, come on. I've seen depictions, ancient depictions, that are 100% showing that the knights had interactions with these things, with dinosaurs, with dragons. Hang on a minute. Sorry. So sorry, guys, but I'm keep getting sources about all kinds of stuff. But yeah, so there's proof that uh, that even during the Knights Templar, Knights and all that, back in that era, even Vikings and Danes and all that, there was evidence of dinosaurs even then. And there's also one that's hidden. Man, I really had to dig down the rabbit hole in this one because I was like, man, if there was back then dinosaurs and dragons, wouldn't there have been, even with the Native Americans and pirates and all that? And I really dug down, and lo and behold, I found the gold mine. And you got to really look it up. Look down in this rabbit hole. I'm serious, because unbelievably there was. So I found it. it was just unbelievable that you know they drew on the ship. I mean, when they get bored, I mean they get bored. So apparently they drew on this ship depictions of dinosaurs inside. They found it. So it was kind of but you could see it, a dinosaur, pterodactyl, um, and then also what looked like a dragon with wings. Um, Shockingly, yes. I mean, because come on, they're not gonna come up with something like that, like especially that detailed and that perfection. Even the Chinese didn't. Come on. I mean, the Chinese had a better mind than they listen. Chinese people and Japanese and that they have brilliant minds. I'm gonna tell you. So, geniuses, but they're not the type that make up a story. I mean, come on. I've never heard of a Chinese man or Japanese or Korean and that making up stories. They didn't have time for that because look at them. They work, 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 work. They're workaholics. They're geniuses. Their mind is always busy on doing that instead of stories. They have never, even their children, they really don't nothing. Their stories about now they do have story like things, but it's all real stuff, all true stuff. They don't have time for that fake stuff. They all tell true stories, and it's just unbelievable. Um, so that's why I don't believe anything the government says that it's myth, it's this, it's that. And that's our next thing is myth versus legend or reality or truth. And that's uh, there's a lot of it, and I've covered some of it. So they apparently found they said King Arthur. It was just a storybook. It was just, but now all of a sudden they're talking about they found King Arthur's tomb. They think they found Merlin's tomb, and the sword. The sword is they believe it's the real sword that because it's in the stone, and so um and I would have to believe this because I mean I've seen the freaking sword in the stone. I mean, and we're not talking about the movie here. I'm talking about an actual sword. I've seen the actual sword in a stone. How is it possible to peer? You would not be able to do that with a sword, a normal sword. I mean, come on. There's no way. No way. So that story would have to be true. I'm sorry. I mean, come on. Now, do I believe in magic? No, no, because I believe that stuff is evil and that. I mean, truly, if you're able to do something like that, there's something wrong. But yeah. So the whole thing, my concept is this: is I believe that sword was so sharp because it's not from what you make a normal sword with. Uh, Whether it be some kind of meteorite that was just rare, and because we get different kind of meteors that come down, so I would believe it would be a meteorite that was just so rare and genuine that it was able to be sharpened in that, and maybe like from friction or whatever, it just was able to absorb and do something. It's almost like remember the sword in Harry Potter that whatever it takes in makes it stronger. You know that saying they said when it killed the basilisk and that, and yeah. So basically, that's what I think. The meteorite just was some kind of special meteorite that was from a star, maybe, and they used it to make it into a sword, and boom, and someone special had to make that sword, and that's where it's strange. Like, you don't hear no backstory really on the sword. I mean, you hear about who had it before King Arthur, um, but that's it. That's where it ends about that sword, which you would think, like, okay, hold on, like this story should have some kind of back history because, like, uh, but the history of it is so small and short. You just hear that you know the last thing you hear is King Arthur, and then if you dig into it far enough, you hear about the king before him had it. And but here they changed the story up that the lady in the lake gave it to him, and it's like, well, how's it go from he pulled it out of a stone to the lady in the lake gave it to him? And then so now I'm looking at it like, what if it was a mermaid? So somehow the king before Arthur came along and had that sword. So is it possibility that the mermaid and the father could have, and the man could have, and he didn't want no one to know, and King Arthur was born because somehow King Arthur just came out of nowhere. If you really checked reality, he just came out of nowhere, um, and for some reason it chose him, uh, or or when he was old enough, because back then you were old enough at a certain age, a young age. It was given to him from his mother. He went to the surface and became king. Because this man knew, like I said, I don't believe in magic. I don't believe in bullcrap like that because it's just that's evil stuff. But this man, like King Arthur, knew how to wield a sword. I mean, for coming out of nowhere and then automatically knowing how to wield a sword and that and go like, come on. He did not get trained how to use a sword. He didn't get trained. Come on, this man automatically knew how to use a sword and better than any swordsman around because that sword was just, and that sword was so special because it's even in these stories, the true stories of him, the legends, what we call legend, uh, that sword would break other swords. The other nickname for it was Swordbreaker. And that sword broke swords. I mean, it's just unbelievable. That sword would just crush through any sword. I mean, even axes. I've heard stories that it would crush through an axe. Uh, they were shooting them boulders and that, and he, boom, right through it. And so the story at the end of it is really weird. So I dug into it, and there's truth in this. Like this man just disappeared. Like the man disappeared, like off the face of the earth. Like so, they apparently left because things got crazy. Because he's old now. Um, so apparently they went and found this island, which I believe is United States. They came over, and we're gonna start a whole new life. Him, so from the story, he went back to get his wife Guinevere. Now, supposedly in this story, Guinevere fell in love with what's his name, Lancelot, which I don't believe. I mean, come on. So apparently she, was cheating with Lancelot, blah blah blah, and the story goes that he murdered King Arthur over Guinevere because King Arthur was so in love with Guinevere, whatever. No. So apparently he went back to get her because Lancelot was already over there with Merlin and whoever else. And so he went back with his, with the captain and the sailors to go get Guinevere. Uh, that's where the story gets weird. So we don't truly know if he made it back to get Guinevere or if he made it and it was on the way back. Because it's just weird. But here's the thing: the ship never went down. It was they found it. They found the ship later, but it was empty of its crew. The captain was not there, and of course King Arthur wasn't there. And then they went back to look for Guinevere, and she wasn't there, but Lancelot was there. That's where it gets weird because if she was supposedly Lancelot and her were supposedly having an affair. I mean, you would think that Lancelot, would have went back and then, fought King Arthur, took him out, and then Guinevere and him disappeared. But for Guinevere, King Arthur, the sailors, and the captain to disappear, but Lancelot was still over there with, still around. It just makes me. It just seems weird. It just seems odd that he would just disappear. Now, they're talking about opening King Arthur's tomb. Now, is he really going to be there, or did they just in honor build him a tomb? Which a lot of times they do for missing, for people that went down, they would think went down. So in reality, from what I've heard, they think that a wave hit the ship and just wiped everybody off the ship. That's what they're saying that they believe possibly happened, but I don't know. For nobody, and then they searched, and there was no survivors, no nothing. To be able to tell what happened, it just blows my mind. So I think something else more weirder happened. Whatever it might be, I'm not sure, but we'll find out. I'm gonna keep you updated on that as much as possible. I'm waiting for them to open the tomb of King Arthur and Merlin, because like they said about Merlin's staff, which is weird. This is what creeps me out. So they talk about Merlin had this staff that just. But here's where it gets crazy. Moses, also from the Bible, had a staff, and this staff was able. It would parted the sea. He hit that rock, and water flowed for the people to drink. You know, and the whole time that he was, trying to get the Ramses to release the people, to let the people go, he was doing, God's bidding then, whatever God told him to do, like raise the staff there, and things would happen. So, it's just funny that all of a sudden, this man, Merlin, comes around and he also has a staff. So here's where I'm wondering is if they find, I don't know if they've ever found Moses' tomb. I know they're probably looking for it if they didn't. And if they did find it, I don't know if they mentioned anything about a staff. I mean, so could it possibly be this man found Moses' tomb, or went talking to people and somehow, or it was given to him, maybe even, who knows? I mean, to protect King Arthur, because from what I know, King Arthur was a good man. I mean, uh, but that's as far as I know. I mean, I haven't really dug really deep on about him completely. So, because I really want to wait until before I start breaking him down. I want to really wait to see about what they find in that tomb. Like if they find him, scrolls, and that parchments, whatever that talk about him that could have survived, or if they have to piece it together, and then I'd have to wait for whatever something that tells us about this man. It would be just perfect, because he's genuinely a mystery. I mean, you hear about Attila the Hun, Cleopatra, all the Egyptian pharaohs. I mean, just story upon story about these people. The emperors that ruled China, and you hear all about these people, and there's so much detail. But King Arthur, there's two real people that you don't really know much about. Christopher Columbus is the other one. Now this guy is a mystery. Like I don't know if they just made his name up to be Christopher Columbus because they really didn't want you to know who he was for some reason, which baffles me, but really doesn't, because they're always hiding something. Um, but it just blows my mind that the two most people that you really don't know about anything about King Arthur and Christopher Columbus. I mean, they disappear, just happen to show up, and you hear the stories from then on. You know, like you hear the stories from then when he goes to the Queen, says, "Hey, I'll go over," blah blah blah, and then you hear about a sailing trip, him coming over here, what happens over here, him going back saying, "Hey, I found America," blah blah blah, and then goes from there. I mean, but then also he goes off the map from there. Like it don't mention him no more after that. That's what's weird. He yet again just he disappears then. Like it don't make sense to me because it goes from he just appears to he disappears. Like what the heck? Um, and that's the same with King Arthur. He just appears and then disappears. So and now all of a sudden they found his tomb, which I mean they were around his tomb the whole time, but they also found this cave that somehow connects to King Arthur. They say, but I never heard of King Arthur being anything around a cave. That's what blows my mind. The only one, Junior, stop. The only one I hear uh, about possibly a cave would be Robin Hood, which that's another one that is true. But there's back history on him. Like that's what's crazy. And Robin Hood's family was really wealthy, and he ticked off the king's brother who was in charge, and he kicked off which followed after more for him, the brother than the actual king, and he ticked them off, and then because he was wealthy, you gotta remember Robin Hood was very very wealthy. He had a castle, he had whatever, and then for some reason the king and the sheriff of Nottingham took it and used it, but it ended up they didn't sell it, they didn't nothing, they just let it crumble and that, and which I think that's what ticked off Robin Hood. Plus, also, he was in love with Marionette and made Marion, and um, I think, and then that's when the king started. The king's brother started pursuing her, um, and that's where he just turned. Like okay, I'm gonna go after this because the king. We can't get a hold of the king, and his brother is just tearing this whole place apart, taxing, 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 and now he took my home, and now he's trying to take the woman I love. So that's why the whole thing happened with Robin Hood. He became Robin Hood because that wasn't his real name. Um, but he became Robin Hood, hence of the name. And then all of a sudden, he's going after everything and uh, trying to take him out. Like, like not take him out as in, but tried everything to give back to the people and do for the people. And then he got Marion out of there. Boom, they're lovers. They're married. But then he just disappears too. Like that's the thing. But I believe it's because the succession. Though the story ends about him because of succeeding, and the king, the brothers, the king, the original king came back, found out what his brother did, and the sheriff too. So that he booted them, locked them both up, and that. Um, so basically a happy ending there, as far as we know. I mean, there's probably more to the story that we're not being told because a lot of stuff we ain't being told. I mean, they're finding these things that just shouldn't exist that they've been telling us for myth. That's why I'm saying myth versus legend. Um, it just blows your mind, like mermaids. And now we're seeing things that shouldn't exist, that should be myth. We're talking about everything. I mean, come on, look at about these dolphins things. Like this dolphin taking this guy, these dolphins taking this guy down and talking to him somehow and making him build an underwater city or something and helping him to breathe. And they had that on national news, like, and then it makes you wonder, okay, if this is possible with And there is truth that they don't want you communicating with dolphins or coming in contact with them. Why? Why? So that's what baffles me. Like, okay, this is a little weird. I mean, but now all of a sudden they're saying this on national news. Like you would almost think they would make this guy as a joke instead, but they didn't. And if something like that can happen, there's mermaids, 100%. That's been talked about for decades too. You gotta understand. We're talking about before even the pirates. We're talking about the Danes, the Vikings, the Knights, and then Native Americans even have said it, and uh, everywhere around the world's talked about it from decades and decades ago to recently. And that's just like UFOs. So you're gonna try and tell me, okay, we're gonna admit to UFOs finally and say da 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 da, but we're not gonna admit to mermaid. Why? You're already admitting to one thing that should have been supposedly impossible and untrue, but we're now gonna say yes, it's true, blah blah blah, and talk about it. But you ain't gonna about. You might as well just come out with everything. Um, so there is factual facts about a unicorn. Now they said that farmer it was fake. I mean, that all depends. I mean, always gonna say something is fake and always turn it around because I seen the original picture and man, that thing looked 100%. But then I seen what looks like an AI picture that makes it look not real. So big difference here, um, which blows my mind. So I'm surprised people ain't catching on to this. Um, they do that. They will change whatever to try to make it look like the person was fake. But why didn't they arrest him then? Why didn't they, you know? And why would you put it on the news then right away? Or this and that right away? Why? If it was fake, you would have known it right away, and it would never been brought up, and no one would know about it. So, in honesty, you're full of crap. Now you want to say it's fake because now it got out there. So now you're gonna try to make the guy, but you still haven't arrested him. I mean, that's a crime, isn't it? To try to, so that's what I'm saying. Like, um, and that's another thing about dinosaurs. Like Japan had come out. Get this, and I know you all know about it. Japan had came out, said they found two islands near Japan, near them that still had dinosaurs, and then all of a sudden, it disappeared. Like no mention of it, no more, no nothing. Like, come on, that's a big story. I mean, that's big something. And the Japanese are not known for making crap up. So, whatever happened to that? Another hush hush thing happened. That's what. I mean, this government is crazy because they just want to hush everything up and think that, oh yeah, we gotta shut this down because guess what? If they knew that they're still alive, then they're gonna know we're lying about other things, and oh, we're gonna have to come out with everything all at once, and they and we're gonna lose control, and then like, and then they use the lie like, oh well, we did it because we didn't want panic to set in, we didn't want this and that to happen. Listen, it don't seem like anybody's panicking hearing about now that UFOs are real. Like, come on. And even back then, they weren't really panicking. They're like, I mean, they might have got a little worried, like, are they here to destroy us? Are they here for, to rape us? Or here to dissect us and that? And they didn't. Now, I don't know. There's a lot of people that disappear, so I don't know the whole situation on that. I mean, could it be a cover up, for the government, for the elite, I should say? Which, government. Sorry, gonna be honest. So, I don't know. But 100% there's things that the government is constantly hiding from us. That are, I mean, come on, they were saying these animals were, there's so many they said were extinct, and then there's trail camera footages that show otherwise. Um, Look at the Jubacabra. I mean, now that one I don't know. That one I'm a little I think is a zombie. Which I do believe in zombie apocalypse, and that's because it's man-made. I mean, honestly, of course, man-made. I mean, an outbreak like that wouldn't just happen out of nowhere and naturally. So I do believe that 100% is man-made. And I think what happened was, I don't know, I think it might have been by mistake, most likely. It was a mistake, and it got out. Because that thing, I mean, them guys that caught that one recently, it put, oh my word, it put up a fight, and he had some tough gloves on that it didn't pierce. I mean, it still hurt though. He was in pain when it bit him. But thank God it didn't pierce through that, because he probably would have turned into one. Who knows? You never heard a story. He could have, maybe it did pierce up a little bit through there and got him. I don't know. Um, but that thing looked crazy, and if you remember the movie I Am Legend, um, it shows them zombies, and then um, it shows them zombies and the dogs that were zombies, and he had the German Shepherd. Excuse me. And it was fighting in that one part. It shows that the German Shepherd was fighting the zombie dog. It was helping him. He was going through the one situation with the one because he was injured. He was having a tough time, and the German Shepherd was getting bit up. Of course, I mean that can't be helped, but it turned into a zombie. Well, surprising enough, them zombie dogs, kind of reminded me of that Chupacabra, and straight to a T. And that's when I was like thinking, well, I've heard in Russia there's been a little bit of an outbreak of zombie. Like, there's been 3 people, and this is true footage, true everything. You really gotta look into it. There was 3 people. I guess they were scientists or something that got this stuff on them and basically turned into zombies and got out. They tried to lock them into the facility. They got out, and they got out. So the police came to try to round them up, and security and that, and they were taking them out. So then they had the military go in, and they took out a couple of the military. They finally took them out though. 2 survived and took them out. But they had to go through a quarantine because they didn't know if they got bit or whatever that could have got on them. But yeah, so the possibilities are very high that those were real. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we got to really be careful, because this government just whatever. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're trying to find something, like I said before about Jesus, if they're trying to think that they're gonna or they're gonna harm him by hurting us. Like, you're not gonna harm us, the true believers and true followers. You're not. I'm sorry, because we're glad to go to heaven. We'll be happy. We'll fight. We will fight for Jesus and the Lord God to the end, and be glad to die for Him. Because guess what? We're going to heaven. We're going where we'll be happy. No more suffering. No more pain. No more despair. No more dealing with this horrendous world and corruption in that. So you don't get it. You don't get it, man. Like, we'll be gladly to fight by side to the end, and nothing you do is, you could do whatever. I mean, like I said, you could do whatever to me, and I'll put a smile on my face. I might be having a hard time breathing if you waterboard me or whatever, but I'm gonna have a smile on my face, because eventually I know I'm going to heaven. So do your worst, and I'm glad. So but like I said, so many times the government just wants control. Your constitutional rights are just constantly being broken um, and denied in that. I've told you guys in one video that if you go to a court and it's the state picks it up, well, you have the right to face your accuser. So right then and there, I wanted on record, public record in that I wish to face my accuser that I'm being accused of. They cannot provide a human being, because they're saying the state picks it up. So therefore, they can't change it into a person. So therefore, they can't provide that. So that means you would have to be like, okay, well then, since the accuser cannot come forward, then I wish all charges to be dismissed, or the penalty by under law is for you to be in prison because you're falsely saying that someone is accusing me, which obviously ain't true. A human being. So therefore, it charges me to be dismissed, or you need to be removed as a judge. Trust and believe they're going to dismiss those charges. So be careful with that, and understand your laws and that. Really look into it with your laws and that, especially nowadays with these corrupt police officers, corrupt judges, because they've been doing for decades too. Um, but be careful of the government, man. Like, I'm here to help you guys understand truth. That's my whole purpose, and I look forward to the days that I can have my sources on here to disclose stuff. Now, unfortunately, some of these sources are not going to want to be seen, so either I'm going to have to black out their faces and change their voices, which is a simple process. Actually, I found out because I found it here, and yeah, right here. Say I can do whatever voice I want, and that's what I'm probably gonna have to do for some of my sources, so that way that they can help and not be found, and be able to talk to you guys and tell you the truth. So that's where we'll go, and so that's what we'll figure out on how we're gonna do that. And some of them, of course, are either blacked out or masked, whichever, so that way you can talk. But I'll have a split screen so you'll be able to see somewhat of them. Now, some of them don't mind because they're old and most of their family is gone, so they're truly not scared of what happened, and they're true followers and believers. Um, but we'll eventually get to that, which I'm looking forward to. Um, I'm going to also expand a little bit more equipment here to, be able to add in as well. And like these, I'm going to have documents here shortly from some of my sources with photos, with actual documents that you'll be able to read, which um, I'm going to get a setup so that way I can start adding stuff in so you can see, like some videos that are from TikTok and Facebook reels of what we're going to talk about, news, especially if I can dig into the stuff that's been taken away. If I can dig up some of it that somehow survived to still be on. Um, Once I get all that down, like this all is all going to be a slow process, unfortunately, because of everything I'm dealing with right now, and trying to get a vehicle. I've tried to find someone that'll help donate a vehicle, and unfortunately, I gotta find other resources. It's an unfortunate thing because of my situation. I mean, trying to do what I can, or at least someone that I don't have to do a down deposit, and I could just pay monthly on a vehicle. So, trying to do what I can, but hey, if I didn't have to do all that, I'd be able to get everything set up and right away be able to get onto this path of getting the truth out there and talking about all this stuff. But hey, it was nice talking to y'all. Been on here for a good while for once. I'm hoping to jump back on here again later. So pay attention. Hey, please hit that like, hit that follow, and subscribe. It don't cost nothing. Just follow me and subscribe so that way you can right away be the first to hear what I have to say, hear what other people say, and get the truth out there. God bless y'all. Have a great day.